All right. Welcome to Everyday Money Matters on Lagos Talks 91.3 FM. It's a beautiful Wednesday, the 5th of May. It's time for us to get into it. And in case you're wondering, Everyday Money Matters is brought to you in partnership with our friends at Nairametrics. It's your number one personal finance and financial literacy show. And of course, Nairametrics is the leading destination for business, financial, and economic news and information, and have content that include breaking news analysis, coverage of the capital, money markets, and financial literacy, and of course, personal finance for your consumption. So it's good to have you here. And of course, I'm not alone. I'm joined by the money team, but precisely, I have here Olumide Adeshina. Good morning, Olumide. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Adu. Hope you enjoyed your workers' day holiday.
I did not have a workers' day holiday, because I work in media, so work every time I need to be on the air. So I was here.
Okay, that's nice to hear. Same here too. Yeah, we're working around the clock. Yeah.
I know, right? Good to have you here, Olumide. So Olumide will be here. Of course, I'm sure Loretta should join us later on, and we will get to tackle your questions. You can send them to us on our platform 0809 234 5913. That's the WhatsApp number for Lagos Talks, 0809 234 5913. And you can also join us on Twitter at Lagos Talks 913. You can tag at Nairametrics as well on Twitter. So Olumide, let's just get straight into the questions, shall we? Okay, so this person starts, and I think this person is, shall I say, going into your foray into your area. It says are investors in equities shifting towards cryptocurrencies, and what is driving this dodge momentum in cryptocurrency? So two things. Are investors in equities shifting towards cryptocurrencies? And what is driving this dodge momentum in cryptocurrency?
Yeah, okay. Let me start with the first question. The narrative is just that if you look at from the Nigerian perspective, yes, you could say yes, because if you look at the trading volume year to year, and the Nigerian stock market has plummeted, and that's based on certain metrics. Look at the fact that a lot of stocks are not as performing, are not doing as well as they should. And if you look at last year, printed record gains. So we see that investors are moving around, and institutional investors also are moving to fixed income instruments. So that's really what's happening in the Nigerian stock market. But for the Gen Z and millennials, I think, yes, there's a growing shift from Nigerian equities to cryptocurrency. And you could really see that by the number of transactions going. If you look at just in 3 months, over $180 million has just been moved within 2 leading P2P Bitcoin trading platforms. That tells you that Nigerians are really actively involved despite the CBN ban on this. So yes, that answers that. But if you look at from a foreign perspective, it becomes a bit trickish because most of these US stocks and tech stocks are on record highs. Google, Amazon, Microsoft, they're trading close to their 2-week high, telling you that investors are still buying in this asset. But the recent trend going on with trendy apps like Robinhood tells you that also people are moving into crypto at landmark. But Dogecoin, and going back to the next question, Dogecoin, I'll tell you, Adu, it's surprising because for me, I saw this asset as a joke. It's an asset that has little or no fundamentals, that started as a joke, was created out of excitement. Now has become one of the top 5 leading crypto assets by market value. In fact, it's even far bigger than the Nigerian stock market that includes MTN, Dangote, GT, Zenith, FCMB. That gives you the credence that tells you that a lot of people see this coin as the future. And one of the things I tell people, despite the fact that I have strong bias against this asset, is that when you see a lot of credible institutional investors backing an asset, it gives you credence that that asset has some upside. So just yesterday alone, it gained 60%. And the fact that Elon Musk Mark Cooper, and these are powerful billionaires backing this asset, tells you that it has a lot of room to grow. And if you even look at data tells you that United States, Nigeria, Singapore, and Turkey are one of the leading markets for this asset. So I'm not surprised this asset is going up. But if a bubble comes in, that's when we see whether the intrinsic value doesn't exhibit might pan out. But I think that's really what's happening.
All right. Thank you very much, Olumide, for that. I think I have some questions here. Timidaya is asking, says, good day. What do you think would be the future of our current banking system in Nigeria? Would the fintechs be taken over?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think it's a three-way thing. Some will fan out, some will pan out, some would disruption would take some out of the door, just like what happens in when technology comes in play. I think some would adapt, and we could see the likes of GT. GT is already going into that space. They're already recruiting brains in that area. We see Sterling Bank also. So I think some banks are already adapting to that. But the truth is that fintech is the next era. We're in the next era of financial technology evolution, and that's already playing. So I think the banks management are already taking control of that on the greater macro. So I feel that in the larger extent, and the traditional financial players would have to adapt.
But there's still an argument, though, that as long as we have paper currency, some of these banks will still have a place, for operation, because fintech is
I share that bias. Just recently, if you listen to what the world's most powerful banking official, I'm talking of JP Morgan's CEO, James Diamond, he already said that you cannot rule out cash, in the long run, because you still need the functionality of money solely depends on the taxing authority and political power. So this is the thing cash has. But you see, the thing we need to understand is that that kind of disruption will not mean the total phase out of cash, but we will see the lesser use of cash. And remember, when ATM came to play, ATM didn't wipe out the use of physical, it just reduced such amount of the use in cash. So I think that's what we're going to play out in digital. I don't see it I don't see cash being wiped out in the next century. Yeah, I think it's going to take much more longer than that. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for your insights as always. Just in case you're just joining us, this is Everyday Money Matters, brought to you in partnership with our friends at Nairametrics, and people are already throwing in their questions and asking about the different financial things they'd like to get insight on. Here's another one from Daniel. It says, good morning, Money Team. And thanks for the financial insight as always. Kind of advice on what a young Nigerian like me can invest in to yield at least 18% ROI in Nigeria.
Wow, that's very cool. In Nigeria, there's so many options, funny enough. But you see, the question is a bit vague because I don't know his earning appetite. I don't know where he ends. I don't know the risk appetite, and I don't know his age. But relative, because you said young, there are assets that already give far beyond that. We have what we call yield farming in the crypto space, where you can invest like dividend assets where you get consistent income. But this is the catch. You need substantial amounts to get into that space. Then if you look at other risky assets, crowdfunding, agro-tech business, you could get into that. But the issue is that you might not get it consistent because don't forget that COVID-19 disrupted these businesses negatively. So some of these businesses are kicking up. But if you insist you want something consistent at that percentage, then I'll tell you to improve your intellectual skills. Yeah, you can add 2-3 jobs. These days now, a lot of millennials are doing 2-3 side hustles, and that will give you returns of nothing less than 30%. For example, if you're a financial expert, you could learn trading or you could learn blockchain technologies. If you're a hairdresser, you could add the crypto value chain to that. Many things you can do now that will also, so intellectual skills also gives higher returns than even speculating in financial assets. Thank you.
Thank you. Ugodre is in the building. Good morning, Ugodre. How you doing today?
Hey, Mr. Adu. Good hump day. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm great. Good to have you
I
here.
like that question, though. I liked that question. 18%.
Yes,
It's a
very
good question.
specific.
Tell that guy he can also go invest in stocks, Nigerian stocks, good dividend paying stocks. Maybe he can get 8%, 10% between now and August, and then add some capital appreciation to it. There's some good dividend stocks. You should try and get that. And just as the Olumide says, he can also try and like sweat his hands and get into something like do a job or invest in a company. Could be a dry cleaning company or a food delivery company. Maybe buys in a couple of bikes and goes into food delivery, or even goes into a car business, right? Ride hailing business. Maybe own buy a couple of cars. I mean, there's just a lot of things you can do to get 18% per annum. Was it per annum? He said.
Well,
Yeah.
he didn't give a time. He didn't give a tenure, but he just said
Well, it
eight.
gotta be per annum, man. If it's per month, then that's Ponzi you're looking for, bro.
Ah,
Except he wants to go and buy Dogecoin, then best of luck to you. Dogecoin did 60% 2 days ago. So
maybe. Speaking of yields, Ugo, maybe you might help us with this question here. This person says, why do the cement companies have such a strong earning in Q1? Is it good business or was it high prices?
that sounds like a very trick question. Is he trying to trick me into saying something? It's very ironic, Adu, because over the last year or so, cement companies are basically having a ball. They made a lot of money. So let me give you an example, right?
Right.
Dangote Cement, the biggest cement company in Nigeria, uh, posted a revenue, and that's a revenue of this in the first 3 months of this year, 332 billion. Okay. Now, this same period last year, the revenue was 249 billion. So you see that that's a remarkable increase, right?
Mm.
And same goes for Bua Cement, 61 billion. And then same period last year, it was 54 billion. And you go to the next one, Lafarge. Lafarge did 71 billion. Same period last year, 64 billion. So you see a pattern, Adu, that the cement companies are making a lot of money.
Yes.
You know, so it kind of seems like if you ask them, they will tell you cement volumes that people are building a lot more houses. And I think to an extent that's true because you can see a lot of development going on across the country. There's also interest in using cement for roads, but much more, it's more of real estate. There's a lot of real estate development happening across the country, and of course, it's driven by demand for cement. But there is proof that cement prices have gone up. I did tweet something a few days ago that cement prices have gone up from about 3,000 plus to 4,200 naira plus, right? And the cement companies will come out and tell you that no, that's not true, that they didn't increase cement prices, that it's their retailers that are increasing cement prices. But you know what? Cement prices are up. That's it. So perhaps maybe it's volume driven, but it's also very much price driven. That is why you're seeing cement prices go up, Adu.
Thank you, Ugo, for that. Olumide, this one is a crypto question, so you might want to decrypt it for us. It says, what is DeFi or DeFi in cryptocurrency? I hope I pronounced it correctly.
You did at your best. Yeah, but basically it's just an acronym for decentralized finance, and basically what that means is that this is an operational model where it cuts all middlemen. So, for example, whatever you have in traditional finance, where you have a central bank governing banks and other institutions, you don't see that in decentralized finance. So, it cuts down all this middle main structure and makes it more efficient. And we've seen that the crypto space is growing like that on a daily basis. In fact, if you look at year-to-year date, over $500 billion is now in that ecosystem, and that's because a lot of things are going on. If you look at the fact that I mentioned earlier, a lot of people now are ignoring what we call the traditional dividend yields in stocks. They're going to yield farming, where you get yields as high as 18%, 25 on a consistent basis, and that tells you the credence. And also, you could also insure your assets, volatility play into play. Then the area of e-wallets and stuff. So basically, what decentralized finance does is it disrupts the way traditional finance works naturally. It makes the process simplified, more efficient, and lessen the risk of being forged or hackers or the fraud that you normally see. And that's really what's happening. So also on decentralized exchange, we've seen that a lot of people now can also release their project. So you could just create a crypto project and list it on a decentralized exchange, and who knows, anybody that is interested in getting. So a lot of wealth has been created through that opportunity. So it's self-evolving instruments right going on right now.
Wow. Thank you very much, Olumide, for that. Now, just in case you're joining us, this is Everyday Money Matters, brought to you in partnership with our friends at Nairametrics. And it's your #1 personal finance and financial literacy show on radio. Of course, Nairametrics is Nigeria's leading destination for business, financial, and economic news and information. So if you're looking for content that will include breaking news, analysis, coverage of the capital, money markets, financial literacy, personal finance, etc., just go to nairametrics.com and you would have yourself a field day. Also, just in case you're just tuning in and you're wondering how you can catch up with this particular episode, you can watch it over again because it's being recorded live on Zoom, and you can watch it on YouTube. So just go to YouTube and search for Nairametrics, and you'll be able to watch the video again, see the panelists, see the questions, hear them be answered over and over again, and probably even be able to take notes if that's what you'd love to do. And last but not least, I need to remind you, because time is always the enemy here. So there's not enough time to really point you to the right direction when it comes to the stock market and becoming a smart investor. So there's something called the Stock Select newsletter from Nairametrics that helps you become a smart investor, gives you market beating insight, and also helps you to discover market beating stocks, insights that would drive capital appreciation, etc., help you to invest with confidence, and just generally help your investing capabilities. It's called the Stock Select newsletter, and you just subscribe for it when you go to ssn.nairametrics.com. And what you're going to get is you get at least 2 recommendations where you can put your money monthly. You get the monthly buy, sell, or hold recommendations. You also get exclusive market intelligence. Ugodre and the entire money team are going to point you in that direction and let you see what's going on in the stock market and the market in general. And you have an analysis of companies. So like the explanation he gave about the cement companies and price and et cetera, things like that will come exclusively to you when you subscribe. So it's going to really help you if you are interested. So ssn.nairametrics.com is the way to subscribe to it if you want to get a feed from it. Larry is asking a question here, guys. And he's saying, he wants to ask Olumide precisely, says, please, could Olumide name a platform where I can buy ICOs? What's ICOs? That's initial coin offerings?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is very cool. But okay, there are 3 ways to it. First of all, some of these ICOs are listed proprietary trading platform, meaning that they are listed on where they are initiated. So you could go directly to where this is coming from. But we have some trending ICO projects going on some crypto exchanges, and CoinList is usually the most popular. It's an American crypto exchange where you see a lot of credible ICOs coming up. So you can select, but this is the issue. It's kind of very competitive. So most times people don't have access to them. We also have Gate.io. Gate.io too is another popular crypto exchange that delivers ICOs. But listener need to understand 2 things. ICOs are very risky. You need to do your due diligence. You need to check the team. the project, the time frame, your lockup period, because sometimes you might not touch that fund in the next 1 year, 2 years, depending on the periodicity put on that lockup. So then finally, you also need to look at the countries coming from. If you're an American citizen, ICOs usually I discourage people from investing in ICOs because you might lose all your funds because Americans found out ICOs not coming out of their market. So you need to put all those things in place. And you still have a problem that come to the Nairametrics handle, message any of our Instagram or Twitter handle. People will give you such personal insight because it can be very personalizing when you look at the ICO projects coming in play.
All right, thank you. Ugodre, there's a question here. It says, how can I contact venture capitalists for my business? How can I contact venture capitalists for my business? I need some funding, this person is asking here. So angel investor, venture capitalist, etc., etc.
So, I mean, there are a couple of notable venture networks, but there's a way this thing works, right? It's not as simple as maybe going to a bank or, to raise money or going to BOI or something. Venture capitalists are very, private businesses or investors. A lot of times they prefer to reach out to you than you reaching out to them because of the way that they invest. So typically, before you even want to reach out to venture capitalists, you should have attracted some kind of funding through maybe angel investors. You should have raised money from maybe family, friends, close associates, and then you should, at least your business should have been experiencing some kind of growth, either growth through number of customers or number of users or the kind of inventory that you have,
Right.
or growth through some kind of revenue. So once you start to experience things like that, then you can now start to attract venture capitalists into your business. Then you also need to ask yourself, if you need to attract venture capitalists, what kind of capital are you looking for in your business? Because some of them don't do investments less than maybe $100,000 or some even $500,000, even some as high as $1 million. So can your business suck in that kind of money? Can your business make use of that kind of money to expand? So, it's at that stage that you start to look for venture capitalists. So they do exist, but they're not like, they're everywhere or people that you can get to. They are venture capital networks that we know at Nairametrics. So but before you could approach guys like that, you got to be able to prove that your business is, approaching scale or has a level of scalability that venture capitalists are looking for. Yeah.
Thank you, Ugo, for that. A quick one also, you might just want to help us with this. This person is asking, why is the SEC wanting to regulate fintech platforms?
Well, I don't think the SEC is wanting to regulate fintech platforms. And if you had keyed into our webinar we had over the weekend, we had the chief economist at the SEC on the Nairametrics webinar where we discussed fintech rising. What the SEC does is, regardless of what sector you're in, so long as your business revolves around raising capital from the public or from people and investing that capital on behalf of people, raising capital from people and investing that capital on behalf of people to generate some kind of returns, you automatically fall under the Security and Exchange Commission's regulation, regardless of whatever you think your business is. If you like, let it be a church. You fall under the regulation, so long as you're in the business of investing, because that's what they regulate. And that's why it's called Securities and Exchange. And investments that are that are securitized, either via shares, either via bonds, either via crypto, like so long as it's a securitized investment, fixed income, whatever, it falls under the purview of the Security and Exchange Commission. So it's even as tight as somebody who is trying to raise, if I want to sell my company to you, Adu, I actually need to get SEC approval. And my company is a private company. Your company is a private company. If I wanted to buy your company, right, depending on the size of your company, I might need to get SEC approval before I even consummate that transaction. Now, these days, it's even gone beyond SEC. Depending on how big your company is, you even need to get approval of a government agency called FCCPC, Federal Consumer Protection Council or something like that, right? You need to get their own approval also. So doesn't mean that, they maybe regulate you day to day, but it's just how the law is construed. So SEC is not forcing itself on fintech. It's just natural cost of their function as a regulatory body. You need to get the approval. If you don't get the approval, then what you're doing is illegal.
Thank you very much, Ugodre, for always setting perspective on the show. Thanks, guys, for joining us, Olumide as well. This is about the time where we say au revoir. We'll get to see you again, hopefully, on Wednesday. And Ugodre, maybe you bring my own cup of coffee that time. So again, join you in the cappuccino. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.